Hey guys, welcome to Black Angus Reviews. This video is dedicated to a follower, My Sketchbook 340. This goes out to you, buddy. Thank you for kind of tipping me off. I was aware Luke Stone, the founder of Fun My Comics, was having a stream as Nerd Bacon with Young Rippa, 59, Eric July of the Rippaverse. And so I was interested. I have not gotten to digest content of Luke Stone thus far. I've had other things of interest, but happened to listen to it at work, and very interesting. Actually, specifically started thanks to Sketchbook's super chat. If this was other streams of straight Rippa shills, I don't know if it would have been read or acknowledged. I'm calling you out, Shagsworth. But I appreciate Luke Stone for being a good host. It was a really good stream. I guess I should have prefaced, don't, if you are part of what I call Alpha Core, the coalition of anti-Rippins, do not go harass Luke Stone. Not just because he's a fun comic guy or whatever. He seems like a good guy. Really enjoy him. I've wanted to interact with him before and haven't found the time and reached out. But I like his demeanor. I like how he carried himself. Has good flow, good energy. Seems to be good, easy listening, informative. Got his finger on the pulse with the comic space in general, not just Comicsgate or Indie Sphere. So worthwhile channel to check out. I don't think he should only be at 2,000 some odd subscribers. I think he should be a premier channel. So let's try to push him. But if you're not inclined, then I guess just refrain in general. Maybe check out that stream if you want more context. But let's check out this interesting response to a super chat of My Sketchbook 340.
And I do want to say thank you, My Sketchbook 340, for the super chat. So they're asking, and this was one of my questions as well. Maybe not exactly like this, but I was curious, what made you choose to build your own site rather than do a pre-order through a traditional crowdfunding platform like Indiegogo or Kickstarter that so many other people use?
Well, I couldn't make sense of it. Not for me. That was the look. When I approach business, I analyze. I see what everybody else is doing. I understand what like the industry standards are. So I'm looking at all these new, like, obviously with crowdfunding, it lowered the barrier of entry, right? Like for everybody. And, you know, that was an option. And then you obviously have the traditional route that people would utilize in the direct market. So I'm analyzing all of it, and I couldn't make sense of any of it. So I figured, like, okay, well, I need to do something that's more of a what makes the most sense for me. And I couldn't justify like utilizing Indiegogo because, again, I had the startup money, and it's like, am I going to give these people this platform fee if I don't need it? Because, you know, if they take 5% of, like, now in retrospect, yeah, it's easier for me to say, yeah, I made the right decision, because whatever 5% of $3.7 million is, I didn't pay that for my servers and all that. I can tell you that much. It didn't cost me that much. Yeah. So it was a worthwhile investment for sure. But that's really what it boiled down to. For me, it just didn't make sense. So I decided to take what I did love about, like, it's a hybrid, right? Like, you see crowdfunding and it has the transparency, and I really always love that. And I was like, all right, well, I'm going to take that element of it, but treat it like it's like just more of a pre-order and do it on my own platform, so I don't have to worry about the shenanigans, right? Of other platforms. And I never wanted to deal with that. It would be a nightmare in case if I did deal with that. So I said, you know, let's try to avoid the problems instead of having to deal with them when they get here. So that was why we did it. And again, it made sense for me because I had the investment initially, because I'd saved all that money. So it was like, it's easier for me, and it doesn't make sense for maybe for other people, but I had the hundreds of thousands of dollars to invest in all what I did. So there was no point in me like doing a crowdfund, because I didn't need to do a crowdfund. So that was more or less this. And to answer the super chatters statement, again, false narratives. And I would argue that this one is especially stupid. No disrespect, because of the just sheer amount of crowdfunds that we've discussed and how I've always talked about how it lowered the barrier of entry and how it's always been a net positive for the industry. So again, just one of those things that you got to be fishing for something if that's a conclusion that someone came against. And if there's a rumor that I'm publishing Yellowflash's book, I'm guessing that's what
that'd be Yellowflash.
No, I'm not publishing Yellowflash. I don't know. I know as much about Yellowflash's book as y'all know about Yellowflash's book and what he said publicly. Him and I have not talked about that. We don't publish other people's work, so either way, like
I know his artist. He's a good friend of mine.
Yeah, and he won 4th place in the Rippaverse. No, 2nd, 4th. What am I talking about? He won 2nd. He almost won it. The Rippaverse. No, it's the ISOM 2, the ISOM 2 fan art contest. Shout out to him. But yeah, I don't know Jack Diddley about any of that. That's on them. He's doing it whatever way that he wants to do it. But yeah, crowdfunding. Anybody saying I'm sorry, that is a false narrative, but it's a especially stupid one, and just the evidence that's out there. My position on crowdfunding.
Yeah. Okay. Well, glad to clear that up.
So interesting development there with that response by Young Rippa. Of course, he kind of has his meandering diatribe about not doing any go-go crowdfunding, even though it's argued his page is a crowdfunder given a funding goal, a end date, etc. I think it's very interesting because, again, there's a speculation, to say the least, that Yellowflash's actions were him crossing the Rubicon, so to speak, as far as his allegiance, him completely burning bridges with Comicsgate, destroying that Twitter space that a lot of people were networking in Comicsgate. Instead of getting forewarning, maybe figuring out handing it off to someone. And this being in conjunction with him creating a comic book and all the fiasco entailed with that, from what we know, with Dillard not being paid. It's very interesting. This really gives credence to commentary from Dick and Vito, and anyone looking in at this with interest. It's very interesting that Rippa has, at least thus far, refused any work with Yellowflash. He's saying, that he will not publish things that aren't Rippaverse, which is very interesting because you would expect him doing all this labor with the warehouse, forklifts, staffing, the logistical headache that it would be to run all of this would be to maybe expand into a kind of critical blast kind of role of a fulfillment center beyond Rippaverse, because unless he's churning out $20-$30 comics that are making $1 million plus every month or two, I don't see. He said he's made $7 million and not made money. He's not paid himself. He's either reinvested it or just put all the chips down on future ventures like animation, whatever. Which I commend that. Don't think that I'm just a straight hater, but it is very interesting that he's thus far said he's not made any money, any profit for himself, or if he has, it's all just been reinvested. And I feel like he set himself up like Netflix. Netflix is $1 billion entity, and they're like constantly in the red. And it seems like Rippa, by refusing to publish anyone besides Rippaverse Comics. That's very interesting. Now, will this become a thing where people sell half of their control or more to be through Rippa, maybe get more eyes on? Is that an angle that he is open to? I don't think so, because I think most people at least want the window of opportunity to have multiverse, reboot, retcon kind of stuff. And if they have to fit into Rippaverse universe, it's very limiting. Go look at ISOM 2, where he kind of uses Bloodruth to expound on his view of multiverse and multidimension, etc. Fictional nonsense. This to me lends a lot of credence to Dick and Vito's commentary about the business side of the overhead Eric has taken upon himself. If you can make it work, like, that's very commendable. Maybe he's got things he's seeing. We don't, of course, it's not been delineated. Maybe there's more to it with Mark Millar commentary as of recent. for things to be coming down the pipeline. But again, he's saying only Rippaverse. So I don't see the fandom that has shrunk from My Son 1 to Alpha Core by like 30,000 purchasers. I don't see how this is sustainable if he's actually shut the door on not publishing other people's works and being a fulfillment center, kind of revolutionizing or attempting to this indie space. Not that it would be the first entity to do this. Again, we have Critical Blast to thank for a lot of fulfillment, including a Drunk 3PO book. But yeah, I think it's just very interesting. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. How do you feel this new insight directly from the voice of young Rip 59 influences your perception of what's going on over there at the Rippaverse down in Texas? Let me know, and I will talk to you later.